Now I'm live. Now I'm live, Joe.
A little bit, a little bit, a little.
All right. All right. Now everything's ready. Okay. So, about 5 minutes before 7. So I like to do a little pregame. Tell you about my week. What was my week like? Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy at all. Oh, wait. That's January. I'm looking at the wrong week. I did an event Monday, which was weekend, which I was kind of bummed about. I didn't get as many events this February as I did last year. So I'm still working on March, and May shaping up pretty good. Rest of the year shaping up April. Um, but I did do Valentine's Day. Uh, Me and the girlfriend went to friends for a little couples action. Yeah, not action, not nothing sexual. I'm not saying that. It was just like a nice party, and we had dinner, and we what did we do? Oh, we played a new card game. This was new to me. It's called Trips and Runs. I don't know if you guys ever played that game. So that was new to me. We didn't actually finish it because it's a complicated game. It's a complicated game. Arden is here. What in the name of God's great galloping golden galactic galvanized gonads is going on? He asked. Not a whole lot. So Valentine's Day went well, and then the weekend I had nothing. I had nothing. We did a taco party yesterday, and that was fun. Ardent, what the couples? What? Oh, okay. Me and the girlfriend got this idea. Oh, well, let's do a taco day. I'm like, all right. And I love tacos, and so we had tacos and invited people over at her place. And then we played a dominoes game called Mexican Train. Mexican Train. It's a pretty fun game, but it's again a very long game, which I won. Thank you. And it's mostly luck, though. It's all luck. I friggin' crushed 3 out of the 4 rounds. There are 13 rounds, and I dominated because I basically won 3 out of the 4 first rounds, and I was so far ahead of everybody, nobody ever caught up. Which didn't make it as much fun for everybody else, but I had a great time. And we had tacos. So, and then today, it was raining. It was raining. We were gonna go to see Joe Mulliner's gravesite, but it was just rain. It was just a miserable freaking day. Ardent, tacos are awesome. Dominoes too, and when you combine them, Ardent, it's a taste sensation. But yeah, it's a kind of a miserable day in South Jersey, raining off and on, kind of cold and although warmer than it should be for February here. It vacillated between mid 40s to the low 60s today. It was crazy. And I even got Joan out the door for a brief walkies, so she was very happy about that. Very happy indeed. She's kind of been cooped up this winter, as I always keep her cooped up. I don't like to take Joan out in the snow because her feet get too cold, or in the wet for the same reason, unless it's summer, unless it's like a nice summer rain. Although then I'm worried we're going to get struck by lightning. And so I they slid over the chits, and I pretended like I didn't know what they were, and I was like, because we had just been talking about candy, and how I wanted some candy, and there was no candy in the house, and then I was like, oh, okay, great, and I went like this, but I kept the glass piece in my hand, and I'm like, what's the deal with this candy? And my girlfriend was like, you didn't just eat that, did you? It was funny. It was funny. Ardent, getting some stream stutter, by the way. Yeah, I'm in, like I said, the weather here's not great. So I apologize in advance if you're getting bad signal. And now I'm down already? Jesus. Jesus, YouTube. Error. You are not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth stream. As such, the viewers will experience buffering. Now I'll open the widget, and the widget does nothing. As always, the widget does nothing. So, great. Great. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks. I'm back. Okay. I'm back, everybody. Now, I wonder if I reload this page. I'm not even going to risk it. Not even going to risk it, but okay. As long as you say I'm back, Arden, I'll continue with the show. So anyhow, it was a weird weekend for me because I'm normally just working. I'm working next weekend. I got a thing on Sunday and I got a thing on Wednesday. Still pretty light month for me, so I got to get going. Although I did just finish the final touches on book 17 of the Pineys. Book 17, I put a nice little capper on at the end, a little epilogue, which I found very amusing to myself, and I laughed out loud when I finished it. I was, Ardent. Yeah, I covered the weather earlier today. There's another big front in between us. Yeah, and I think it's supposed to, when's it supposed to snow? I think there's going to be a snowstorm coming here. Let's see. I have this useless weather app, but it's sort of okay in a roundabout way. Yeah, Wednesday, I guess it's going to snow Wednesday and Thursday. See, it looks like it's going to start on Wednesday and then continue into Thursday for a grand total of about 3 to 5 inches maybe. They were calling for a foot, so that's a bit of an improvement. But that's a lot of snow for here now these days. Ardent, meh. Just live with the lag, getting loads of buffering. Sorry about that. Sorry. Here, let me check the widget. Oh, it's still useless, everybody. It's still completely useless. Yeah, I can see that this... Stream settings, analysis, viewer activity. I mean, this is useless, YouTube. It's absolutely useless. Ardent, we've got wind and cold and clear skies right now, which probably means we're going to get a storm too. Yeah, it's looking like Wednesday and Thursday for us. Some of my relatives are on a trip. They're coming back on Thursday. They might be in trouble. They're going to Florida. But let's see. When's my thing? My thing's Wednesday. Okay, but I'll be done. I'll be done before the snow starts. So that's good. But it might turn to rain here because sometimes it does. And then it looks like Friday and Saturday it kind of warms up. Sunday is going to be my... Yeah, it looks like it's going to melt probably in the Sunday and Monday. Oh, I hate snow so much. God, I hate snow. I hate it. Ardent, beautiful starry night right now, though. Nice. Nice. Here it's very foggy and cloudy, kind of rainy. All right. Well, I'm not sure if people are waiting or they can't get on the stream, but let's forge ahead because maybe they're going to watch it later anyway and they've given up. I'm going to check the numbers. Let me reload this because there was a little bit of a glitch. This is for Valentine's Day weekend. Now, we didn't get a chance to look at previous weekend. Let's just go back a week just for the hell of it. Yeah, last weekend, Dogman turned out to be the #1 movie in its second week. And it dropped by 62%. The new movies, Heart Eyes and Love Hurts, were second and third. I believe Heart Eyes was first going into Friday, and then Dogman pulled it out, which I kind of suspected. But of course, Captain America: Brave New World is the brave new winner. Not surprising, simply because, these guys are still coasting on their laurels. But I don't think this movie's going to make any money. Because we still haven't gotten the final budget on this thing. I've heard as high as $500 million. That dropped today. Somebody was saying, oh, this thing's probably $500 million. I'm like, it doesn't seem realistic. But 300 million does sound realistic when you consider the fact they probably shot this movie at least twice, and I've heard up to 4 times. I strongly suspect they really shot it about 4 times when you add up all the footage. So I strongly suspect they shot about at least 8 hours of footage, probably closer to 10, and then just hacked at it until they got what they got. Hacking out the entire Serpent Society except for Giancarlo Esposito, I think I'm saying that right, who plays Sidewinder, and not sure why he's in this at all. And he is 65, by the way, and probably not the guy to go toe-to-toe with Anthony Mackie. Probably should have gotten a younger guy for it, but they always get an older guy for the villain because you need a good actor to be the villain. And I've always maintained that Anthony Mackie is a good actor. He is. He's good and stuff, but my God, man. And he had a good role to begin with until these Disney buffoons got a hold of it and wokeified it. And now they're dealing with the damage of that. I think they tried to unwokify it, but it's nearly impossible. They needed some really based writers to come in and just gut the thing. Just gut it and make it like super uber patriotic. Now imagine they had done that, right? Imagine they had made it like uber patriotic. People probably would have been shocked and said, oh, you know what? This wasn't so bad. I mean, the expectations were super low. Instead, it sounds like not only did they reshoot the thing 1 million times, but they scrapbooked it too. Meaning that they just shot a bunch of scenes. If you can imagine trying to shoot a movie this way, shoot a bunch of scenes and then figure out the plot later as you hack it up. Doesn't make any sense. You can't make a movie that way. At least not a coherent one. You can make it so it's not awful. That's the only result you will get with, in my view, constant focus groups and scrapbooking. You can keep it from being a complete disaster that everybody hates. But I don't think you'll ever get something that everybody will like. Although a lot of people did hate the movie as from Heels versus Babyface. He didn't like the movie at all. He called it garbage. Most people agree that it's not a good movie. A few avoid saying it's outright terrible. They kind of concede that it's sort of watchable, but that's not saying much. You're talking Harrison Ford is in this thing. How far has Harrison Ford fallen at this point? Could he go any lower? Could he go any lower at this point? Will he be doing commercials for sanitary napkins next? Because that's what I'm expecting. I'm Harrison Ford, here for Tampax. Now, if you have a heavy flow, get off my plane. I don't know. Something like that. Like, I can 100%, see that now. If you had asked me 10 years ago, can you imagine Harrison Ford in terrible movie after terrible movie? I would say, you're crazy. Guy always picks good movies. Once in a while, he goes off the rails, but generally speaking, he picks good movies. Now, I wouldn't go see Harrison Ford on a bet. And for what? For what? The guy is elderly. He is elderly. Okay? And he's not playing elderly people. Even the President of the United States is not elderly. Well, I guess Joe Biden was. And was demented. But he wasn't playing that guy. He's playing a strong president in his 80s. Now, granted, he looks younger than 80. You could look at him and say, okay, maybe he could pass for 60s, late 60s, 70s. But so what? That's still elderly. He should be playing grandpa or the old veteran or the guy the master who trains the young student. That's the kind of roles Harrison Ford should be playing. The police captain who's about to retire or did retire. He shouldn't be playing this. Ardent. Stream keeps dropping, LOL. Try the widget again. Okay. All right. Widget, help me. I got nothing. There's nothing. Oh, it says here it's getting slightly better. Is that? No, I think this is just my views and the amount of people who are in the chat. So actually it was up to 3 people, and now it's back down to you and me, Ardent. Just you and me, buddy. So I understand if you need to go and watch this later. I hope it's better on the you know, the taping of it. But I don't know what to do. The only thing I could do is I could restart. Oh, I hate doing that. Let's see. Let me see if I do. I'm going to try something. This might cut me off. It might cut me off, but we'll see. See if that does anything. All right. Did that help? Let's see if this helped. Okay, that helped. That helped. That helped. Was that better? Ardent, scrapbooking sounds like a complete wasteful way to make a movie. It is. It is. Let me tell you what writers do. Ardent, Harrison Ford for the Cincinnati Zoo. Why did it have to be snakes? Ha! Ha! That's a good one. Here's why scrapbooking is a terrible, terrible idea. Because you automatically have to shoot extra stuff. And the one thing writers do is they make creative decisions for the story. So nobody has to think about that. As the writer of a screenplay, what I would do is I would make the decision who the main villain was in Captain America 4. I would say, this is the villain. Everybody else is secondary, in the mix. But this is the main villain. And it's all about him and Anthony Mackie, who's the hero. And everybody else is secondary. But when you scrapbook something, you're essentially doing more decision-making by committee, right? So you're cutting together sequences and you're showing it to people. And what do you think it is? Well, that's good. Well, that's not as good. Well, could we see more of him? That's not the way to make a movie. It needs to be a vision of one person, maybe 2, who are on the same plane, maybe 3 if it's like the writer, the director, and the producer. Once you start getting into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, you might as well just pack it in. Now, I partly blame people like Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie because they do have the power to say some things. Now all their lives as working actors, they've gone along because that's how you move up in the world of acting. Oh, he's a great guy. Yeah, he does that. Oh man, he just nails the lines. He just does what you want. That's a good actor. However, when you become a movie star, it's not the same thing, I say. Ardent, nah, I'll tough it out. There's nothing worse than screaming into the void. So, if you have an actor who's a movie star, they couldn't have shot this movie without Anthony Mackie. No way. So if Anthony Mackie put his foot down and said, I am not doing this. I'm not saying that line. I'm going to my trailer. You think about it. Yeah, everything grinds to a halt. Now, granted, the studio can get involved and, it can get pretty nasty, but they'll basically bend towards him if they have to. And yeah, he might get a rep for being difficult on the set, but when you're talking about a situation like this, where they completely change the movie, when the movie is so bad, what did Ryan Reynolds do? Ryan Reynolds basically got some script writers together. He started writing the damn movies. And that's how you got Deadpool. Co-writing them, at least. So, Ardent, seems like it's better now. Okay, good. I did like a reload, so maybe it reset itself. So, LeMay is here. Hi, LeMay. We may be having some technical difficulties because I'm in a storm, but we'll see. But, yeah, so this Captain America movie, once they had reshot it once, that's when Anthony Mackie should have stepped in and said, let me write it. And now Anthony Mackie may not be a writer. I don't know. But I know he's an actor, and he's pretty good. I got to say, Anthony Mackie probably could have wrote a better version of Captain America, even if he never wrote a screenplay in his life, simply because he's a pretty good actor. At least it would have meant something to him, you know? At least the lines would have been like, okay, we'll do it this way. Now, judging what he said about the movie, Captain America doesn't really represent America, and apparently he said that, it wouldn't have been great. Probably would have sucked. But at least it would have been a vision, a coherent vision. And I'm sure Anthony Mackie has a guy in his crew who writes screenplays. Someone. Arden says, hey, LeMay. So, there's that. Now, Harrison Ford, he's got no excuse at his age. He doesn't need the money. How much longer is the guy going to live? You telling me he couldn't put his foot down and say, I don't like this scene. the director would have crapped his pants. Oh, God, Harrison doesn't like this scene. What are we going to do? You telling me Harrison Ford doesn't know any screenwriters? I bet he knows a bunch of them. But, you know, maybe they just wanted to get in, get their paycheck, and get the hell out. I mean, you got to look at it this way, too. These guys got paid every single time they shot this movie. So they got paid for like 4 movies. I mean, Anthony Mackie definitely did. He was in all of them, all the versions. I think Harrison Ford was added later. But, God, imagine getting paid 4 times for shooting the same damn movie. A movie like this? Anthony Mackie's doing well. I gotta imagine. But you can't fix this in post. You can't fix that kind of indecision in post. You can't. The best you can do is make something that's kind of watchable and that's not totally awful, which is apparently what they've made. Judging by the reviews and the ratings, it's one of the lowest rating, if not the lowest rated Marvel movie. Certainly of the Captain America movies, it's definitely on the bottom in my view. You know, they say this was supposed to clock in at about 90 million. This is at 88.5 according to the numbers. Now this is an estimate. Disney is screaming that no, we cracked 100 domestically. And 192 worldwide. Now, according to the numbers, which are usually pretty close, but sometimes they're off by a couple of million, the worldwide is 180. So it's not too far off, but that seems like a bigger gap than normal for the numbers. It's possible, but I highly doubt it. But who knows with Disney? They may be cooking the books just to make their predictions come true and just to keep a positive spin on this. But I mean, I've seen the YouTube reviews. It's generally terrible. I mean, definitely the comic book fans hate this because from a comic book standpoint, it makes 0 sense. The whole, you know, Captain America versus the Hulk makes 0 sense. Even if it had been Steve Rogers, you know, against the Hulk, a Hulk, not the Hulk, but a Hulk. No. So, LeMay says, hi, Ardent. Ardent says, just sitting at my computer, wanted to go back to the scrapbooking thing real quick. Movie making is storytelling, but improv doesn't work well outside of comedy for telling a story. Yes. Yeah, and you're talking about something that's 200 million. right? If they had shot this in a weekend, that'd be a different story. If they had shot this for, $100,000 and shot it in a weekend, well, you could forgive a lot of problems with it. They also say the CGI is terrible. I mean, I'm hearing all sorts of complaints about it. You can't spend this kind of money on a film and have it look slipshod at all. There's no excuse for it. There's just none. Do you know how many screenwriters you could have hired with the money they blew on this thing? A ridiculous amount. Now, that's not necessarily helpful, hiring screenwriter after screenwriter, especially the ones they got in Hollywood. But my God, you could have hired the screenwriter for the amount of money they had in this film. Literally anybody. Anybody. I don't think there's a working screenwriter today that would have said no to Captain America 4 looking at the kind of money they threw at this thing. There's no one. There's no one in Hollywood who would have said, nah, I'll pass on that millions and millions of dollars. So whoever the studio thinks is their absolute best guy, they could have gotten. Now, if I had to pick a guy, who would I pick? I think I would have picked Shane Black, but I'm very biased for Shane Black. The studio probably would have picked him. He probably would have been considered too old for it. He's more of a director now. He has worked in the MCU, but he had kind of a bad situation with the last Predator movie he worked on, and so I think he may have fallen out of favor. Ardent, I was under the impression they had brought the Russos back for this one, but I think that must have been the next Avengers movie. Julius Ona is going to have a hard time getting work after this. Seems like Disney is drafting the desperate directors for their garbage, says Ardent. Yes. What do you think about doing improv for character-driven plots? I mean, you could do it in the, for a line here and there. Let's see who wrote this train wreck. Here are the writers. See, they already got too many on this thing. Rob Edwards, Malcolm Spellman, Dallin Musson, Julius Ona, and Peter Glanz. Story by Rob Edwards, Malcolm Spellman, and Dallin Musson. And directed by Julius. So Julius doesn't really count for the writing credit, in my view. But let's see what Rob Edwards wrote. The Princess and the Frog. Out All Night. I've never heard of any of these. He wrote an episode of Rock back in the 90s. Or episodes. He was a co-executive producer. Where the hell's the writing credits? Here we go. Okay, the writing credits. I recognize none of it. Yeah, he did write some episodes. He wrote 5 episodes of The Rock. I remember that. He wrote 3 episodes of The Fresh Prince. He worked on In Living Color. I used to like In Living Color. But A Different World, Full House. I mean, he's kind of a sitcom guy. And this it doesn't come off as a funny movie, but maybe they brought him in to punch it up. Here's Malcolm Spellman. All right, what did he write? He's another producer / writer. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. How'd that do? Oh, right. Bel Air, the new Bel Air TV show. Empire. The Making of The Sopranos and The Sopranos Road to Respect video game? Yeah, those don't strike me as credits that are too great. Let's try Dallin Masson. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So that I suspect those guys were both on earlier drafts. Ardent, LOL. I want a what if wherein Frank Castle was given the super soldier serum and fought the leader. I think they did that in the comics. I'm almost sure they did. Who else? Let's see Julius, if he has any writing credits. He's a director. He looks awfully young to be directing this movie, but sure. Producer, writer, okay. Samo Lives. I don't know what that is. Bad Genius. Lucy. I've never heard of any of these movies. These are all shorts. Okay. Did he direct anything worth seeing? The Cloverfield Paradox. Nope. Not a single credit on here. I'm like, yay. Peter Glanz. All right. Writer. The Trivial Pursuits of Arthur Banks. The Dinner Party. I mean, it's just... He was a director too. Yeah, there's nothing really here that screams action. None of these guys, to me, scream action, which is... Yeah, so the Russo brothers, I don't see them anywhere here. I don't see any action. You got one guy for comedy who really he's a sitcom guy and wrote a bunch of sitcoms way back in the day. I mean, those sitcoms are like 30 years old. So it's not... Look, I'm one to talk. I wrote sitcoms 30 years ago too, but that's kind of those are some old credits. Like, you couldn't get any current guys? You couldn't get any current guys who are with great credits. Now, Russo brothers would be at the top of my list. I'll tell you, I'd have brought back Josh Whedon for it, but his deal, I don't know if he's still persona non grata in Hollywood, but you could have brought him back as a screenwriter. There's not many good screenwriters in L.A. anymore. I mean, back in the day, it was Joe Esterhaus, but I never thought he was very good. Other than Shane, I mean, you know, Quentin Tarantino, hey, look, Quentin Tarantino, I wouldn't trust the final draft with Quentin Tarantino, but I bet he'd punch it up. You know, you have to cut out all the curse words, but at least it would be fun. Who the hell's left? I mean, with any kind of name. I don't know. Anybody from the Phase 1 Marvel I would have brought back. Anyone who wrote one of the good movies during Phase 1 Marvel. Bring one of them back. It's not that hard. You have all the money in the world. Instead, you had these guys working on it. None of these guys worked on a Marvel movie. None of them. Bring back one of the writers from Phase 1. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? You wouldn't have this horrific problem. Now, I get it. Initially, okay. So, you did a first draft, you shot the movie, and it was so terrible. Okay, we screwed up. We had to reshoot this thing. So, once you're at that point, that's when you don't mess around, right? That's when you say, we have to hire a guy who's done this before. I would 100% agree with that. Now, initially, yeah, you take chances with talent. I wouldn't have picked these guys. I definitely wouldn't have picked the guys who wrote Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That show did not do well with the fans. But how could you not? All right, let's get the guy. Civil War, I think, was all Russo brothers. Captain America: Civil War. Oh no, you got. Let's look at the writers here. Christopher Marcus. Where's he? I mean, the Russo brothers directed it. Where the hell's Christopher Marcus? The last thing he wrote was A Gray Man 2 years ago. He's working on Electric State. That's going to be a big film, whether it does well or not. Nemesis, some TV series. I'm not sure what that is. You got Stephen McFeely. He worked on it too. Look at all the stuff he's got upcoming. He also worked on the Electric Slate. He's also working on the New Avengers. He's also working on Secret Wars. How could you not get these guys? Ardent. So I've discovered that butterscotch schnapps in coffee is divine. Oh, Jesus. Helping me get over my sinus thing. Oh, okay. Well, as long as you're sick. Feel better. Feel better, Ardent. So yeah, there's no excuse to spend $300 million on a movie and not have the best guys on it. Captain America Civil War is the best, in my view, Captain America movie. I think the fans would tell you that. I think any sort of metric would tell you that. I'm pretty sure the money would bear that out. I'm not going to look it up. Why wouldn't you get those guys? Okay. Because you ended up spending probably more than that anyway on a movie that now isn't going to make its money. Yeah, you're at 180 million this week, but wait till you see the drop off next week. Next week, let's see, what's the drop off going to be? I'm going to ballpark it around probably 65%, 70, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's definitely going to be more than 50, so it's not going to have any legs. It's going to go. Now, next week, it'll probably be the number one movie, because even at like 65%, it's still going to be a lot of money. It's still probably going to be like, I don't know, 20, 30 million. And Paddington can only do so much work. But, yeah, I mean, they, in my view, they screwed this movie up. They didn't need to. But they get into this panic. And I think this is more corporate. Sometimes it's talent, but I think it's mostly corporate. We've already spent too much money. We've got to just finish this thing. And they think they could get away with, and they probably tried this, and I believe they did. I think there was an early article saying they did a focus group. I want to say 2 or 3 different endings of this movie, and everybody hated all of them. And that's when they went back and reshot the whole thing. Like literally, they did 3 or maybe it was 4 versions of the movie. They showed it to focus groups, and the focus groups hated all of them. So, yeah, R.I.P. scrapbooking, if there's any justice. So at that point, you're talking a complete teardown? I mean, at that point, if I was at the studio, I would have said, well, maybe we should just Batgirl the whole thing and call it a day. But they weren't going to do that. So instead, they just threw in Harrison Ford, the guy who played the leader. What's his face? Can't think of his name. He was Billy the Kid in that old Henry movie. Man, that's a good movie. Ooh, I just gave it away. Don't forget I said that. Yeah, I mean, and Giancarlo Esposito, who just got thrown in there to try to save the damn thing, I think. So it's a dumpster fire, as predicted. And, they're saying this thing only cost $180 million to do. Now, I don't think that's true, but that might be the actual numbers of the actual money they spent, because they do inflate it all the time. So they probably spent $90 million the first time, said they spent more like 180. Then they had to spend it again. And then they were like, we spent like $350 million. And then somebody said, no, we can't tell people we spent that kind of money. We got to tell them we only spent 180. And then they rolled it back, but who knows? Ardent, Tarantino, Deadpool showed an R-rated super flick can work. He'd be good pick for someone like an Afro Samurai live action, especially if they cast Michael Jai White, who's getting close to aging out, but still. Tarantino's version of the Sinister Six would be interesting. Yeah, and you could always scale it back. And, Tarantino's is just a guy I give an example to. I'm sure there's plenty of other guys in LA that could do a good job. But why aren't they hiring them? I don't know. Was this the DEI Disney movie? Like, oh, okay, we got a black Captain America. We got to make everybody on the movie black. The director, the writers, and da-da-da-da-da. Maybe. Ardent, Nemesis TV series based on an old B movie series? I'm not sure what it's based on. Let's see. See if there's any info. In the gritty streets of LA, intertwined lives collide as characters face moral dilemmas, seek revenge, and grapple with their past decisions, leading them down paths of justice and possible redemption. Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain. This is a TV series. Maybe. I kind of don't like Jessica Chastain. She's annoying to me. And I hated Interstellar, and she was in that. Ardent, LOL, that's my secret, Tony. I'm always sick. Turns green, smashes things. Yeah, so there's just no excuse for this, DEI or not. But maybe that's what it was. Maybe they said, oh, he's Black Captain America. We got to have a bunch of black guys work on this, and that's what they did. Doesn't make any sense. Stupid. It's dumb. Not the way you make a movie at all. But they did it. So, and everybody on the internet complains. Moving on. Also premiering this week is Paddington in Peru, which I heard is really good. $13 million. I'm not a Paddington fan. I'm a little too old for that, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I probably wouldn't seek it out. I don't know. I'd be lost having not seen Paddington 1 and 2, but yeah, I mean, I watched Wallace and Gromit. I like that. Maybe this would be good. I don't know. I hear it's good. Dropping to 3 from 2 is Heart Eyes in its second week. Can't really tell you if what the deal is, because it looks like, did they put it in more theaters? I guess they did. Or it just made more money. It's at 10 million this week. So I guess people are liking it, but that might be a trick of the light. I don't know. I sincerely doubt people are going nutso over what looks like a slasher movie connected to Valentine's Day, but maybe. I mean, for the teenagers, they might go see it. That would be a move, right? You're in high school and looking to take your date on Valentine's Day. You saw her a couple of times. She's not technically your girlfriend yet, but you're trying to get there, right? To girlfriend status or boyfriend status with her. So you take her out on Valentine's Day and say, "Ooh, I'll take her to see Heart Eyes because she likes these movies," and and it's sort of like a Valentine's Day thing. Number 4, dropping from 1, is Dogman at 9.7 million, but that's not a big drop from the money, right? That was 13 to 9.7, so Dogman still doing well. Let's see what it's at worldwide. 84 million. I would have thought it would have done more overseas, but that's money. Look at that. 40 million production. We are in money. This is money. If I had to buy stock in movies, I would have bought a bunch of shares of Dogman, 100%. Any movie like that is probably going to do well. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it's got a big following. Now, this is big news this week, and it's on the box office. This is the highest grossing movie in China. It's called Niza 2. And it's animated, and it's made over $1 billion worldwide. Now here it's made 7.3 million. And when you see when I read the description, you'll understand why. After the heavenly lightning, although Ni Za and Ao Bing survived by becoming spirits, they would soon dissipate completely. Yeah, I think someone who's second language is English, wrote this. Tai Yi plans to rebuild Niza and Ao Bing's mortal bodies with the seven-colored precious lotus. However, during the process of reconstruction, numerous obstacles arise. What will become of the fate of Niza and Ao Bing? I have no friggin' clue because I'm not a weeb. But if you are, you might want to watch this movie. I don't know because it's animated. But this crazy description is of a movie that made $1 billion in the international market, mostly in China, I believe. Yeah. So you can see there, the opening weekend did almost $300 million. Wow. So the Chinese love this, and that's just crazy. And it opened in Australia and New Zealand, probably because they have been trying to get as many Chinese nationals into both of those countries, I believe, to take them over. Slowly but surely. LeMay, I watched an older Chinese movie about the Is Chinese God. The Is Chinese God? I don't know. That didn't come out right, and now LeMay has redacted the message and is furiously retyping, I suspect. But yeah, that's crazy. And this is very much should be a wake-up call for Hollywood. Because now they have a Chinese movie that has made $1 billion. Now, granted, it's very Chinese. It sounds very Chinese to me. Something that only really people in Asia are going to like. I mean, it did 7.3 million here, which isn't bad. Isn't bad, but, you know, that could be explained by the mostly Asian population here, combined with the Asian files who love this kind of stuff. But that's still very niche in this market. Overseas, though, that's a hot tamale. I mean, that's $1 billion. So this was always, I think, the goal of the Communist Party in China. They want to take over Hollywood. They want to be the place where movies come. Because if they can do that or be influential enough that Hollywood is secondary or loses a lot of power, their message of communism can get through, and they can brainwash more people. So that's no bueno. The upside is, of course, most of the movies that come out of China don't make money, and they are pathetic attempts at aping American movies. This is the exception because they actually made a Chinese movie for a Chinese audience, I think. So it probably rings very true, but they can't make a lot of movies like that in China because they can't upset the Chinese Communist Party. So they can't make anything in the modern day, really, that's worth a damn. All right, LeMay. It is about the Chinese god of youth. I watched an older movie about this figure, Niza versus the Dragon King. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I suspect it's probably pretty watchable. I mean, if you get the translation and whatnot, and you could tolerate their version of anime. But, you know, it's not going to play bigly here. It's very niche. But in China, I mean, it's a gigantic hit. This is the biggest movie in China, I think. Probably their biggest movie ever for $1 billion. So if they keep doing this and slowly figure out how to make movies for Americans and the rest of the world, the West, or just make movies that are so big internationally, you know, they can make their propaganda movies for us and lose money. Who cares? So, but it's bad news for Hollywood again, because again, I think the Chinese want to diminish Hollywood to the point at which they are secondary, and it's happening all over the world. It's not just China that's eating into Hollywood's pie. I mean, Nigeria is trying, God bless them. They're getting better at making movies. They make a ton of stuff. Most of it's not very good in my view. But they're getting better. Their production value, it was pretty low to begin with, but it has gone up quite a bit. Then you got India, of course, where they have, a different Hollywood or Bollywood in every province, just about, with a different language and different customs. They're making cool movies. They're definitely going to be. They're ahead of the Chinese still in terms of, I think, the production, but they haven't had a hit like this. So, but then again, they don't have the population like China does. Like, India's population is huge, but all their Hollywoods or Bollywoods are split amongst ethnic and tribal lines. So, for instance, there's Tollywood for the people who speak Telugu. And I got this explained to me like a year ago, so bear with me. But Telugu is one of the languages and one of the cultures within India. I don't know how much a Telugu movie translates to the rest of the population. There's got to be some drop-off, right? But China's Han Chinese is, I believe, the dominant. I mean, China is split into certain ethnic groups, but it's not as split as India. JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. You missed the whole conversation about Captain America. Did anyone see Captain America, by the way? Anybody have any good or bad things to say about it? But anyhow, definitely this should be a huge red flag in Hollywood that the Chinese have a $1 billion movie. Should be setting off alarm bells. People should be running around screaming like, "Oh my God, we're screwed!" Like that hasn't happened. LeMay, yes, Han is the majority. Yes. So they don't have as many factions in China. So you make a movie for the Han. Ha! That's a cool icon. LeMay is waving at you, JEC. So, yeah. Yeah, and now, I guarantee you what the response in Hollywood will be is, "Ooh, we got to do that too." That would be a terrible, terrible thing to do, Hollywood. Because first off, you'll probably screw it up trying to make some sort of American version of Niza that the Chinese will hate. You already tried that, by the way, with Shang-Chi and the Seven Rings. How'd that go? Oh, not too well. Not too well when the Chinese told you to go pound sand, didn't even release it. Or did it finally get released? I don't think it did. Yeah, that's not the way to approach China. What you should have done is made movies and then let them pick the movies and then hope they do because they're of such high quality they're watching them anyway. But I don't mind offering them the movies, but to cater to them, that's a dumb move because it sounds like you're pandering to them. And yeah, so that I don't think they want an American version of Chinese culture. That would be like inviting a group of Chinese nationals to the States to eat Chinese food. The Chinese food here is very different than the Chinese food in China, my understanding. So they'd be like, "Oh, great, all the fat you guys got in your food." It's like taking an Italian to the Olive Garden. It's the worst thing you could do, by the way. The worst thing you could do to an Italian is say, "Hey, let me take you to Olive Garden." Remember that commercial? That is horrific. Do not do that. All right. Number 6 is Love Hurts, dropping from 326, 4.3 million, a drop of 25% in its second week. That's not too shabby. And this is Short Round's movie. I don't think it's doing well. I mean, 13 million, that doesn't sound like money. Oh, the production budget was only 18 million. So it might break even on that, but that still doesn't sound like money. Yeah, he didn't strike me as an action star. I'm not sure why they put him in that role. I would have thought it would have been cool to put him in a comedy. And it is kind of a comedy, but they're just not doing comedies anymore. 7 is Mufasa, dropping from 4.1 million. And it says it's up by 4%. This is in its 9th week. I mean, who the hell knows what Disney... Disney wouldn't allow this movie to fail for some reason. Not exactly sure why. Out of all the movies, I would suggest that this one definitely exceeded its advertising budget. So this had a budget of 200 million. I would be very shocked that the actual advertising budget wasn't 200 million, because they spent an S ton of money on this. JC, Short Round is a big stunt guy behind the scenes. That's why they made an action movie with him. I don't know. His image to me doesn't scream stunt guy. Doesn't scream. It feels like. I mean, I like that he does some of it, but I think he could. I don't know. I feel like he's not an action guy. Maybe he's just too old. I don't know. Feels like more of a comedy guy. And I guess Love Hurts is kind of a comedy thing, but I don't know. After I read the write-up, I was kind of not interested in it. It just sounds so generic. One of Them Days. This was the black or the female version of Fridays. 43 million? That probably, yeah, that's money. $14 million budget. They'll be making a sequel to this. 100%. Again, we need comedies. We should be making these comedies. This comedy, all kinds of comedies. 14 million is nothing. I mean, you've seen the budgets. When you spend, now what would you rather do? Spend $200 million on Mufasa and then another 200 million trying to push the damn thing, praying that it makes over 400 million. It has. It's made 686, but or you make 10 of these movies at 14 million, spending even less money, and you practically guarantee that you're going to make your money back. I mean, that is a lot more stable. I mean, if one of those movies tanks, it's no big deal, because the other movies are going to make up the difference. So if you just add a 0 to all these numbers, you would have spent 140 million and you would have made back 435. What's that profit wise? That's about 200 million, and that's what they made in Mufasa. A little more, but I mean, you could expand that further out. You could put I don't know, do 20 movies like this, 280 million, and then you would get, I don't know, 700 million back, make $500 million. But I think that's a lot more stable when you make smaller movies. That isn't to say you can't make big movies, but my God, does Disney ever make any small movies anymore? They just make these tentpole after tentpole. Poorly. And you can suss out who the good directors are by putting them on these smaller movies, and then one of these movies, it only takes one of these movies to break out and make $100 million, and you're like, oh, then you've got real money. Then you're talking about, if you made 10 of these movies and one movie made $100 million and the rest of them just did about this, I mean, you triple your money. Why wouldn't you do that? And then 2 of them could tank. You wouldn't even care. Companion, which weirdly The main girl in this is a robot. Now, I saw the trailer, didn't get that at all. Absolutely did not get that. I don't think they mention it or show it in the entire trailer that I saw. So, it was a $10 million movie, and so far it's made $32 million. So, ka-ching. Ka-ching. It's a horror movie. Kinda, sorta, not really. Not my kind of movie, but I mean, if you had advertised that the woman was a robot, that would have been a little different. Would have been a little different. Store Bang, didn't they remake Escape from Witch Mountain? They did. And I don't know why you bring that up, but they did. With The Rock, I believe. I believe they made it with The Rock. I watched the original as a kid. Which... Here's 1975. 1995? This is not the one I was thinking of. Didn't they make a more recent version of this? With The Rock? I thought they did. They made a 95 version. Here's Escape from Tiger Mountain. I could have sworn they made one with The Rock. Why do I remember that? All right, let me go to The Rock's page. I would have bet money on that. Because isn't that from the meme? Where he's looking backwards in the car? Or is that a different movie? Now, it was a few years ago. Pre-pandemic, I think. It's Jumanji. Fate of the Furious. God, he's made so many terrible movies. Journey to the Mysterious Island. JC, that's from like Rampage or something. Oh, is it? I could have sworn here it is. Race to Witch Mountain. 2009. It's not in this movie? Because there he is as the driver. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, no, it's from this movie, JC. Because that's the car they're in. That's the girl. Oh, there he's doing... It's kind of a cool trailer. Yeah, see, there it is. That's it. That's the meme. That's the meme. A Las Vegas cabbie enlists the help of UFO expert to protect two siblings with paranormal powers from the clutches of an organization that wants to use the kids for nefarious plans. That's Escape from Witch Mountain. They just renamed it Race to Witch Mountain. JC, he's got less hair in the meme. He does? All right, now we got to look up the meme. Rock meme in a car. There it is. No, that's it. He's pretty bald in that. That's got to be it. He's got the CDs there. JC, oh, never mind. I looked it up. It's from that movie. All his movies look the same. Yeah, yeah. I'll have to do a meme later. So, is that... Yeah, it's a crazy movie. The effects are better. It's funny they called it Witch Mountain because that was like an era where like witches and UFOs were kind of like they kind of bled into each other. It just meant like mysterious stuff. So like in the 70s, it was like Escape from Witch Mountain. Oh, Witch Mountain. Yeah, that must be a mysterious place. So it made sense that there were aliens involved. Now it kind of doesn't make sense, right? Like if you say Escape from Witch Mountain, you're expecting like witch powers or something, or that the mountain has like witches on it or whatever. If you're unfamiliar with the original movie. JC, CDs must be from 2009. I have that same case in my car still, because I still have a CD player. I've yet to upgrade to the the computerized version of stuff in your car where you can play any song in the world. I'm still playing like YouTube videos off my iPhone sometimes, which sucks because it goes to commercial while you're playing it, and then you gotta hit the button to bypass the commercial or just suffer through it. But Store Bang, why did you ask about Escape from Witch Mountain? Why? Number 10 is Flight Risk. I may go see this because I'm almost sure it was directed by Mel Gibson, and it has bald Marky Mark in it, which I think was a cool thing to do. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it's directed by Mel Gibson, so it's probably pretty good. It's made $40 million, but it definitely didn't cost that much. Yeah, $25 million, so it's on its way to making money. Storebank, I thought you were ranting about Disney remaking movies. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, they remake everything these days. They might as well remake that one now. I mean, that would be the 4th remake of the movie. 4 remakes, if you can imagine. 4. Man, it'd be great to have an old movie made and still be alive to be collecting those royalties. Oh, you're remaking my movie again? Fantastic. I wonder what the most remade movie is. It's got to be like some classic, right? But you'd want to pick one that was original. You know, not something from like Shakespeare or whatever. Something that was made, say, in the 70s and the guy's still alive. That would be an interesting thing to research. The most, let me type it in, see what it is. The most remade movie of all time. Place your bets. I'll say Hamlet if it's a Shakespeare one. But if it's not Shakespeare, it had to be something probably made in the 50s. JC, A Star is Born? That's a good guess. Ardent, my guess for most remade, A Star is Born. Ardent, JC, hello. Great minds think alike. All right. Dracula, Huckleberry Finn, A Star is Born has been remade 3 times after its original release after 1937. So, yep, that was in there. Ardent, Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. So, yep, looks like, Phantom of the Opera. How many times have they made that? 43, 62, and 89? That's it? A movie version based on the Broadway musical 2004. Okay. So that's 4. Oliver Twist. Oh, yeah. They've made that a bunch of times. 22, 33, 48, 2005, and 2007. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 remakes. The Great Gatsby, 4 times. The first Jungle Book, 42, 67, 94. Those weren't technical remakes. JC, Dracula is a good guess. Ardent, Dracula, it's not really a remake so much as a variety of retellings. Yeah, Christmas Carol. Yes, JAC. Jane Eyre. Yeah. Originally made in 34, 43, 70, 83, 96, and 2011. I don't remember any of those. Great Expectations. There you go. Charles Dickens. Latest version was 2012. And the original was 34. Robin Hood. Oh, God. How did I not think of that? Ardent. Yeah, Christmas Carol's probably been made a bunch. Yup. Absolutely. And if you count every time a sitcom used it, my God, it would be in the hundreds. But Robin Hood, holy cow, yeah. So you got 92, 38, 91, or 22, 38, 91, and 2018. There's got to be more than that. There's got to be more than that for Robin Hood. Come on. Treasure Island, that's another classic. 96, 2012 were the... Oh, that was Muppet Treasure Island. Three Musketeers, oh yeah. Multiple times. Ardent, Robin Hood has been done to death. It sure has, and they're doing it again. Here's the Three Musketeers. 35, 39, 48, 61, 73, 93, and 2011. And I think there was a few more after that. Hunchback of Notre Dame, yeah. That was probably made up, yeah, a bunch of times. 23 original, 39, 56, 82, 96, and 97. Ardent, Prince of Thieves is so entertaining. Not much as Men in Tights, though. Yes. Yeah, and they're not, I don't even think they're counting, like, comedic versions. Adaptions of Mary Shelley, Frankenstein, yep. First one, 31. And you got 57, 73, 94, 2015, depending on how you count them. Ardent, the Disney's Three Musketeers was good. Kiefer, Sheen, Oliver Platt, just stealing the show. Yep. Les Miserables. 34, 35, 52, 78, 98. King Kong. 33, new one. Yeah, that's been remade a bunch of times. Annie. Yeah, they made that a few times. 32, 38, 82, 99, 2014. Ardent. They're playing a little loose with the definition of remake in this article. Yeah. Brewster's Millions? Godzilla count as remakes? That could be another one, but I didn't know Brewster's Millions. It was remade in 21, 26, 35, 45, 61, and 85. I remember that one. Batman. Yeah. I mean, those are remakes, technically. Depending on how you count them. A Christmas Carol has been remade 20 times. So probably A Christmas Carol, I would guess. Ardent, Brewster's Million was a 1914 movie. Yeah, they made it a bunch of times. Huckleberry Finn. A bunch of times. Dracula. Okay. Yeah. So probably A Christmas Carol is probably the winner of that. But if we picked... See, I would want to... I think Batman... I guess that would be the closest thing to, like, something that was remade in the modern era. So the first movie was 43, although the creator's long dead, but... yeah, it's crazy. Crazy the amount of remakes. There you go, Disney. And you know what should probably be on here, too, is Zorro. They made Zorro a bunch of times. Although not as many as 20. All right. Continuing on. What do we got? A Complete Unknown. Ardent, I need to start scraping through some of the really old movies. Can probably find something that is a public domain and relevant. Yeah, like Zorro. A Complete Unknown, $1 million. This movie didn't do as well as Hollywood wanted it to do, I think. $103 million. Might have made its money. I don't know. Ardent, Zorro has been made a lot. Yeah. Although some of that's TV. I mean, if you count TV, Moana 2, The Juggernaut almost made $1 million this week. It's in its 12th week. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, The Other Juggernaut, 855,000 in its 9th week. The Brutalist, the brutal movie that's 3.5 hours long, somehow still in its 9th week. I don't think it got over I guess it got over 1,000 theaters at one point. Oh, it was so funny when I told my girlfriend it was 3.5 hours long, and she was just like, "What? Oh, we're streaming that." I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly my thought." 3.5 hours long. I don't think we'll make it. I'm going to predict right now. I don't think I could sit through this whole movie at 3.5 hours, even streaming it. Wicked. Not sitting through that. $247,000 in its 13th week. Might as well just section off a screen and call it the Wicked Room and keep showing it. Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, 183,000. I can't believe they're making another sequel to this, but they are. Baby Girl, horrible Nicole Kidman movie, in my opinion, $92,000. I say it's horrible because Nicole Kidman's in it. I can't stand her. Green and Gold from Fathom Events. What is that? 3rd week. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's one of those religious movies about baseball and probably Jesus. Nosferatu. Hate this movie. Hate it. Hated it. $77,000. Anora. I like that movie. $57,000. It's not only... Man, it's in its 18th week. They must have had a low... Yeah, this is one of those movies they crept it in on the down low in the indie theaters and then slowly, ramped it up. But, yeah, I think this is probably going to pick up a few Oscars. Flow, $56,000. I may catch this on streaming. I mean, it's been in theaters forever. 13 weeks. Presence. What was this thing? 4 weeks? Oh, some kind of ghost movie. LeMay, they have karaoke showing of Wicked in some theaters. Oh my God. Sounds like the 3rd level of hell. Universal Language. It's in 22 weeks in theaters. I don't know, some foreign movie. I can't speak that, ironically. Armand, IFC Films, in its 12th week? What is this? No idea. What's the summary here? Armand, a 6-year-old boy, is accused of overstepping the boundaries with his best friend in elementary school. Although no one knows what actually happened between the two boys, the incident sets off a chain of events that forces parents and school staff into a gripping battle of redemption where madness, desire, and obsession arise. That definitely sounds very foreign and odd. Parthenope, in its 2nd week. Looks like they're trying to jack that up by putting it in more theaters. I guess. Wolfman, this movie did not do well. No bueno. 34 million? That can't be money for this. I gotta think the production budget was over that, but who knows? Conclave still rattling around at $28,000. 17 weeks. They really want that to be an Oscar winner right there. They've decided. That and a few others are getting Oscars, and there's nothing you can do to stop them. The Seed of the Sacred Fig, I bet that gets an Oscar too. I bet that gets at least nominated. I think it is nominated for Best Foreign Film. And A Real Pain. Not Oscar nominated, but doing okay-ish. 19 million. Probably was a pretty cheap film to shoot. Just the 2 guys running around Europe. I don't think it cost a lot of money. All right, 147 million this week, thanks mostly to Captain America 4, which is over half the box office. Not a way to run the industry, in my view. But I guess Disney's happy. I mean, how could they be happy? They can't be making money on this thing. They can't be making money on Captain America if they reshot this. If any of the rumors are true, and they actually reshot this thing 2, 3, 4 times, and it cost them upwards of $300 million, how could they make money? Storebang. They made a biopic about the famous DJ from the 50s, Wolfman Jack. It was Wolfman. Wolfman Jack, yeah. No, sadly they didn't. I'm kind of surprised they never made a movie about Wolfman Jack, just to have a guy do his voice. I tried to do my Wolfman Jack imitation, I think during the taco party we were having yesterday, and I got like nachos caught in my throat and I couldn't do it, and I was like choking. I was like Storebang, I might be the only one interested in that movie, so I'll have AI make it and enjoy it all to myself. No, I would kind of see that movie. Didn't something weird happen to him towards the end? I think he died of throat cancer. I think that was a thing, which was odd considering what his voice was, right? Maybe all the strain on his vocal cords gave him cancer. I don't know. But I vaguely remember something terrible happened to his wife, and I'm trying to remember what. But, yeah, something happened towards the end, I think, too. He was doing a lot of, like, you know, a lot of the older guys from that era, they just do, like, local events where they're reopening a nifty 50s or, you know, anything related to the 50s, these guys would be there. But a lot of them were like, I mean, eventually they just got so old. There was another guy locally here. He passed not too long ago. He was, his DJ name was the Geeter with the Heater, Jerry Blavitt. And he used to show up at events and, you know, play 50s music. I guess he, you know, but he was, man, he had to be in it like 70s or 80s at least. He was still doing it. Ardent. Wasn't Hessman's Johnny Fever from WKRP a takeoff of Wolfman Jack? Was it? I don't think so. Because he was more like a takeoff. Well, maybe. I mean, he didn't sound like Wolfman Jack. But I think it was more of a takeoff on DJs in general from that era and in the past, the rock and roll kind of crazy DJ. JEC. Wiki says Wolfman Jack died of a heart attack. Oh, he did? I thought he died of throat cancer. No. Maybe the throat cancer gave him a heart attack. Maybe. I don't know. Ardent. Hessman died in 22. I just found out. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, that was a bummer. I really liked Hessman. I thought he was so funny on that show, too. I would have loved to see more seasons of WKRP. That was a great show. It was so funny. To this day, I mean, the turkey episode is considered a great classic. It's so funny the first time I saw the turkey episode. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. But you should watch the series, get to know the characters a little bit before you get to that one. Ardent, sad now. I watched him for so many shows. Ah, Storebang, didn't the Geeter have a catchphrase? I can't recall. Well, he was the Geeter with the Heater. Beyond that, I don't remember. I'm not that old. Ardent, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Yes. All right. Let's see what's going on at Fandom Pulse. Ardent, the entire series is worth watching. Yes, I agree. Storebang, Hessman played a space hippie in an episode of Star Trek. Not the OG Star Trek. Was he one of the space hippies in that episode? He would have been super young if he was in that episode. Or was it a later episode with space hippies? A lot of weird stuff came down the pike this week about YouTubers that fell into my feed. Ardent at Storebang. LOL. Yep, I remember him as head of the class too. So there was a lot of YouTubes. Ardent Core Memory Unlocked. Lonnie Anderson and WKRP. Oh yeah, yeah. She was the hot poster girl. Like right after Farrah Fawcett, it was Lonnie Anderson. Ardent and suddenly I'm not as sad anymore. There you go. But a lot of weird stuff came down the pipeline this week on YouTube about YouTubers that I watch on a regular basis. And I don't know how true they are. But they were videos. One was a video about John Del Arez having some sort of breakdown. But I don't know how true it is. I don't know how true any of this stuff is. And one about Razor Fist that I was like shocked, but I don't know. It was so outrageous. I don't know if it was true. I kind of don't believe it, but I don't know. I don't know. LeMay, that music chick got outed for being a liar. Oh, which music chick? Vaguely remember what you're talking about. Storebang at Ardent, the map. Dan Schneider was in that show too. I don't know if he's a map, but it didn't sound good. I don't think I could say that. JC, JDA, everything bad they say about him is probably true. LOL. Well, I don't know. He was nice to me. Ardent, what was said about Razor? I don't want to repeat it because it was so messed up. They played a video. I'm not going to say one of the things, but they did play a video, supposedly of him and his girlfriend breaking up, and then dropped a bunch of data about that. I don't know if any of it's true, though. I don't even know if the video's true now with deepfakes. I mean, the whole video could be faked. It just had his voice in it, and she apparently secretly recorded them having a private conversation, which I don't know how legal that is. But JC, Razor was talking to a 15, flew her out to be his girlfriend when she was 18. That's some of the rumor. Ardent, give me a quick search hint. I don't know if you want to find this information. I don't know how true it is. It could be all BS. I don't know. It could be, parts of it could be true and some of it's not. I don't know. I don't know. JC, video is real. It's been around for years. Ooh, no bueno. LeMay, the lady who claimed Daniel Green, a booktuber, essayed her. Oh, yeah. So wait, what did you say about the music chick got outed for being a liar? Oh, so she was a liar. That Naomi girl. Oh, wow. Then she's in big trouble because I think Daniel Green was already lawyering up. So, yeah. See, you got to wait on these things. That's why I'm reluctant to repeat anything about Assault. Because I just got wind of this and I stumbled upon the videos and I watched them and I was like, ooh, no. No bueno. Ardent. Oh, then. I'll find it. JC, the 15-year-old stuff is the worst of it. The rest seems to be a bad breakup, says JC. Ardent, I'll do a dig and see what I find. It's a bit of a hobby of mine researching. LOL. I even turned it into my new show on Tuesdays. Tar Baby Tuesdays? How does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense, Ardent. Because things stick to people? Is that why you called it that? I think you should change that name. That doesn't sound like a good name. Anyhow, let's see. Oh, here it is right here. Daniel Green vindicated. Sony's state of play shows who's leading gaming and who's falling behind. But here it is. Naomi King makes new video on fantasy booktuber Daniel Green admitting it was a prostitution situation. I'm a sugar baby. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So, ooh. That's no bueno. JC, Daniel's audience are all beat soy boys who the accusation is enough to do him in. That's too bad. I don't think people should be done in by accusations. That doesn't sit well with me. I'm still very upset about Justin Roiland. Not so much him, but just that his career was destroyed and there wasn't any kind of real reckoning of what was true and what was not. JC, that's racist. Captain America, Brave New World. Ardent, LOL, no, I named it after the Brer Rabbit story. It's puzzling things out. Couldn't alliterate a day of the week with rabbit hole. Captain America Brave New World director rejects reports film went through multiple reshoots. Oh, come on. What? This has been... They've been talking about this for like... How many years now? It's got to be like 2 years of this. Oh, Jesus. Okay, and then you're going to admit it like 3 weeks from now when the movie's going out of theaters, or you're never going to admit it? Ardent. Firaxis and 2K promise free updates to Civilization 7 after game receives mixed reviews. So wait, the updates wouldn't be free? I'd have to pay for updates? That doesn't sound good. Oh, you mean the updates like extra stuff? I guess. See, here's the problem with Civilization. We didn't need better graphics, per se. Like, that's not really the purpose of Civilization. What we needed was more opportunities. Like, more possibilities to expand, right? So, for instance, they had a game called Sim Earth, where you evolve all the creatures on the world, and then one of those creatures becomes the sentient species of the planet, and sometimes multiple. And so then you would, like the octopus people could then go to space at the end of the game. So they should have expanded it that way, I think. Or if you were going to add like literally every person in history, you got to add the bad ones too, and you got to have dark turns in history. And if you're not going to do that because it's too racist, crazy, or whatever, then go the other way and expand it out to evolution and beyond the stars or whatever. JC, yeah, her first video was talking about how they talked every day for 3 years, and then they went to Vegas together and they fooled around, then accused him after he blocked her. Well, that doesn't sound good. Wizards of the Coast removes this decade-long fun tradition from official Dungeons & Dragons books. Look at the picture. That's a hilarious AI picture, isn't it? All the blue hairs ruining Dungeons & Dragons. God dang it. Yeah, it's like Dungeons & Dragons gone super woke, so I highly recommend 3rd edition, but 2nd edition works pretty good. I wouldn't go past 3rd edition. I think 3rd edition, probably the most material for it too, online. There's tons of 3rd edition stuff. That was when we were at peak D&D. Everybody was making modules with the open game license. I think you want to stick at 3rd edition. It's easily adaptable to things too. If you've got custom rules like I do, you can throw them in there. So stick with 3rd edition, I would. You could probably download the whole thing off the internet for nothing somewhere. I don't mean nothing, but maybe nothing. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. I heard RPG Net went woke too. I mean, They're like banning people for supporting Trump and stuff. That's a shame because that was usually a good hub to find that kind of stuff. I have a bunch of stuff online. Um, my game Complete Mafia for D20 has an expansion set. I couldn't get it to print, so I put it on. This guy who did a lot of digital releases helped me publish it, and I wrote a bunch of stuff for him too. So he's got like 1 million downloads online, if you can find it. You would search for Complete Mafia West Coast, and if you're interested in RPGs, but yeah, you don't need the woke Dungeons and Dragons at all. In fact, that was sort of half the fun of the game, is doing a bunch of politically incorrect stuff in the game. That was kind of crazy and fun. Yeah, especially if you were playing a game like Gamma World. Holy crap. People went nuts in that game. Seth Rogen implies Donald Trump won because people getting sick of effing hippies doing acid. I'm not sure what he means by that. I guess he means boomers. But who cares what Seth Rogen has to say anymore? Talk about a guy who, like, he just got out of the he was in the zeitgeist for a while, and now he's like completely out of it. Like, I've never seen a guy who at first seemed to be so on point with his comedy for a while. Like, he had this like window of time where he was like, oh my god, this guy's kicking it, and now, like, I don't want to see anything he does. I don't see nothing. I love This Is the End. I love that movie for a variety of reasons, and now Seth Rogen has something, I'm out. I'm just out. I just want him to retire at this point, because, you know, he's gone cuckoo bananas, in my view. I can't stand his takes. Like, it just, you know, it's one thing, I've seen a few celebrities, they'll say something, they don't like Trump, whatever, I don't care. You know, there's a way to say it that doesn't destroy you in my eyes, but holy cow. LeMay, he led her on, and we're going back to Razor Fist again. LeMay, he led her on, and she got mad at him for choosing the main over her. She was the side piece and not wife material. I'm a little shocked if that's true. If that's true, I'm a little shocked, because Razor Fist struck me as kind of a rock and roll guy who didn't need to do that. Because I think he's in a band locally. Usually band guys don't need to do that kind of stuff. Like, at all. I just go to do a show and there's girls all over him. I don't know. Maybe times have changed. Ardent, D20 was the best era for tabletop gaming. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I can't, you know, another guy this week who just ruined himself for me in my eyes is Bill Burr. And I did a whole video on it. I kind of can't believe it, but I kind of can. Because apparently his wife has really bad TDS and is like super woke. But Bill Burr came out, and I'm paraphrasing, he was on some podcast, of course, said something like that billionaires needed to be put down like dogs or something. JC, Rogan was always mid. Oh, This Is the End is so funny, though. It's so funny. Paul Rudd's cameo. Michael Cera's cameo. So many great cameos in that. Even Rihanna. Ardent had a weird dream about Rogan and Joe Rogan the other day due to a sinus meds, I think, where they were arguing about the legalization, and I told them to both F off. Okay. Weird. But yeah, like, now that Bill Burr has come out and literally, I mean, this is like a leftist take. Oh, it's billionaires, man. We got to put them down like dogs or whatever he said. It's like, dude, first off, you're a millionaire. Okay, he's a millionaire. And these same leftist idiots said that about millionaires just a few years ago. In fact, they still say it if they're not millionaires. Oh, a new player has entered the game. Kate Am I saying that right? Because you got a little thing over the T, or is it Kate? And the last name is Limdhay? Yo, 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 what are we talking about? Movies, of course, right now, Seth Rogen and Bill Burr. JC, we're referring to the Daniel Green guy, not Razor. Oh, okay. Sorry. I got my two stories confused. Okay. Thank you for correcting me on that. Oh, that's better. Yeah, if that Naomi chick was in sort of a sugar baby situation and he was paying her, she should shut the F up. As long as it was consenting adults and money exchanged hands, I don't care. I think you should legalize prostitution. That's my take. I think it would solve a lot of problems, actually. First off, OnlyFans should legalize prostitution, and OnlyFans and the porn industry would evaporate tomorrow. Because why would you bother with porn if you could just call up a girl to come do you? Like, that wouldn't make any sense. And believe me, the price would go way down because organized crime wouldn't be in it at all. And the price would plummet. But there would still be girls making money. Ardent. Kate, hello. Mostly movies and pop culture. JC, I always thought Burr was annoying. Never thought he was funny. Well, I liked him. Especially early on. Now I'm just kind of, damn it. I feel like when that happens, I feel like I've been ripped off somehow. Like, I feel like I put my emotional energy in some celebrity by liking them, and now they've sort of like, they come across as complete phonies, and somehow I feel ripped off by that. Is that wrong? I feel like I got ripped off by Bill Burr. I feel like he owes me money. Alex. Evening, bigots. Evening, Alex. It's very snowy southern Ontario. But at least no one is booing the U.S. national anthem, although I'm planning a greater heresy involving pineapple and pizza. Damn you, Alex. Damn you. Who won the game, Alex? Who won the game? Ardent. Burr was never all that based, just angry, like Dennis Leary. Yeah, that's another one. Sam Kinison was the master of it, though. Yep. Goes to prove you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. Now look at Dennis Leary, right? Now he's in sitcoms. Now he's just an actor, just some random actor in the mix. He's no longer like cool stand-up guy. It seemed like he couldn't get out of stand-up fast enough. To some extent, I can't blame him, but I didn't feel as ripped off by him. I was just confused why he just stopped doing his shtick. Ardent. OnlyFans is basically legal prostitution anyway. Ardent at Alex. Hail, fellow well met. Well, but like, you don't actually have sex with the girl in OnlyFans, is my point. But if prostitution was legal, why would the simps pay for a girl online to look at when they could pay for a girl to come to their home and do stuff to it? It would just, like, because prostitution would be dirt cheap if they legalized it. The reason it's expensive is because of organized crime. The reason anything's expensive, really, a lot of times is organized crime. So, for instance, there was, this is many moons ago, there was a study done about the mafia related to ingredients involved in pizza, because a lot of it used to come from Italy. Now, I guess they make a lot of it domestically, but, and they said if they could somehow remove the mafia from the production of the various ingredients in pizza, olive oil being a particular one, and a few other things, they said the price of pizza would just be half, right? And back this was back in the day where you could still get a pizza for like like $7.99, $6.99, and they'd have specials for $5 free, $5 pizzas, plain pizza. So like my math was like, oh my god, we'd have dollar pizzas. But yeah, it would just, it's the same thing with drugs, right? I mean, the longer weed is legal, the more the price will go down, or they'll have to come up with better service or better justification for why you're paying all that money. Now, so far, it hasn't come really down in the States, my understanding, because I used to know weed. I'm not a weed guy. I don't smoke, but I knew a guy who sold weed, and I said to him, "Are you out of business now because they legalized it?" And he just laughed and he said, "No, my weed's still cheap because the government puts on all these taxes. I'm still, he still was selling weed." But at some point, the competition should drive down the price. And that's exactly what would happen in prostitution. I mean, there would still be expenses for the sex workers. Like in Nevada, they have, I think they have like licenses and permits and stuff. But it would drive the price down next. There would be so many women doing it. I mean, just like there's so many women doing OnlyFans. Ardent at Alex Ogle. Hail, oh, I read that one. JC, Dennis Leary's shtick ripping off Bill Hicks bits got old. The price wouldn't drop. These hoes are ruthless. No, I think it will. Because they would have a lot of competition. There'd be a handful that would make a lot of money. Like a really beautiful one would make a lot. It's just the Pareto distribution, as Jordan Peterson says. The beautiful people or the rich always make more than and the successful just are in a separate category, but everybody else is just constantly struggling. I'm talking about the regular girls who would do it because it would be easy work and there'd be too many of them doing it, but they'd still do it because it would still be worth it. Like, oh, I don't have any money for groceries this week. Well, I don't feel like getting a job. Ardent, as a former friend says, you don't pay the whore to F off, you pay her to F off. Oh, you don't pay a whore to F you, you pay her to F off. Right. I've heard that. Alex Ogle, movie pitch. Doge, Department of Girly Excellence. Ooh, I'm liking this. Sydney Sweeney, Gal Gadot, Amanda Siegfried, and a list of others in bikinis. Well, that's probably due. It doesn't need a plot. You're right. I like it. Get it on my desk by Tuesday. LeMay, I was surprised that some people sell bootleg olive oil. Yeah, the good stuff. And as an Italian, I have access to that. One of my relatives has a friend who has most of the women who read it are already sick of it. I see them on book tweet or whatever it's called. Asking for book recommendations. Some of them are even saying no smut, which is a big step for a lot of them. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of women burn through these kinds of books. I mean, they just burn through them like a book a day, and you can't create enough of this crap for the women who read it. But even they get tired of it, I think. Ardent at LeMay, I saw a story about big olive oil theft a week or two back and thought about covering it, but had too much to cover. Well, you had the big maple syrup theft up in Canada. They made a movie about it. Alex Ogle, never mind the extra virgin olive oil. Where can I find the extra slutty stuff? Ardent at Alex Ogle, Olive Garden? Shut your mouth. LeMay, don't some women already do that? One woman used her dates with multiple guys to cut down on her grocery bill. Yeah. I mean, but it would just be more legal, right? So if it was more legal, you could see a situation where you meet some girl on a Tinder date and she says, look, you're a nice enough guy. I don't really want to date you, but I'll have sex with you, but take me out to dinner and give me $50. Like, I can 100% see that. 100%. You know? Just because, yeah, I need some money and I don't really like you, but you're good looking enough and I'm going to have sex with you anyway. So I might as well make some money. Like, that's the way it would be. And because of that, it would change the game. It would change everything, really. But there would be a definite line of women who would do that and women who would never do that if they were, the smart ones. JC, there's already a million girls that do that. LOL. Yeah, but if you legalize it, I think some women would just set it up as a business. They would just have a website, and whenever they were bored or needed money, even as a side hustle, they'd do it. And with no chance of being arrested, as long as they, do the minimum, it would be so everywhere that you'd have to drive the price down. Because of that, there'd be services all over the place. Ardent, LOL, if a girl said that to me, I'd take her to McDonald's for dinner. I'm not blowing a lobster dinner on a one-time skanky jank. Well, it's also an age thing, too. I think older guys would get savvy to that very quickly and be like, nah. But younger guys, oh yeah. The young and the horny, they'd be all about that. But again, it's just as bad as OnlyFans, if not worse. Because, you can get diseases, you get pregnant, whatever. JC, I've met girls who subsidize their income by just going on Tinder date every day of the week for a free meal. Yeah? Yeah, that's what LeMay said. Yeah, I've heard that too. I don't know. Probably happened to me. I went on a ton of dates over the years, so I did go on this date. The only time I suspected it, I went on this date with this girl and I took her to her place. It was a Japanese place that did hibachi. I thought I was impressing her, and then it turned out to be super expensive. I ended up paying like a ridiculous, I'm embarrassed to say what I paid for the meal. And then she, at the end of the date, she was like, no thanks. And it was like, that was it. And I was like, God dang it, I'm never going to do that again. But lesson learned. I had a good meal, though. It was still good to me. Over at Variety, BAFTA Film Award winners. If anybody cares about that. The English Oscars. Best Film. Conclave took home the best film, tied with The Brutalist, which won for director for Brady Corbett and actor for Adrian Brody. Excuse me. So maybe that's going to be similar. I'm surprised. Conclave didn't look good at all, but they are pushing that movie hard. Hollywood, I think, was pushing Emilia Perez hard, but now they're in panic mode about that movie. It may disappear. They may just say, no, don't give it any awards. We're going to change everything around and just... They might give it like a Mercy Award, like for sound or something like that, and then, just kind of forget about it. But I have a sneaking suspicion they won't. Ardent, first date, always coffee, cheap. I agree. JC, what's Conclave about? So the premise is Ralph Fiennes is the guy who has to organize the picking of the Pope because the Pope has died. So everybody's a bishop. Stanley Tucci's in it. And I think it gets weird after that because they said it was a bunch of... They basically said it was like a woke version of the Vatican to some extent. Ardent, picking popes, yeah. Because there was some woke element of the plot, and I can't remember what it was, but something towards the end. So, it's supposed to be this, like, intense movie where they're talking about the Pope and the, the impact that picking the head of a religion, of course, world history and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's like Hollywood's version of the Vatican, which is not good in my view, because a lot of these guys do that kind of stuff and they're not respectful to the source material, right? And they spend all day, half the people in Hollywood spend all day bashing religion whenever they can, and then they turn around and do a religious movie and say, oh, come see the religious movie. And kind of, it didn't do that well. Let's see how well it did. It's still in theaters. Here it is, Conclave. 92 million. And no idea on the what's the name? The budget. It could be over 100 million with a movie like this. There's a lot of big names in it. They shot it in the Vatican. So it's not a cheap movie to make. I would say it would have to be at least 50 million. Cardinal Lawrence is tasked with overseeing the world's most mysterious and ancient events, the election of a new pope. After the most powerful leaders of the Catholic Church from around the world gather in the halls of the Vatican, Lawrence finds himself at the center of a conspiracy and uncovers a secret that could shake the church to its foundations. Yeah, Hollywood, they're really good at church stuff. Ardent, little-known Vatican secret, all the cardinals sit in a big circle, and one young priest walks around patting them on the head going, duck, duck, Pope, until one of them catches it. It's good to know. Also, another part of the process is the Find the Pope in the Pizza contest, which they hold every year. And you have to find the Pope in the pizza contest. So they take a picture of the Pope and they put it on a pizza and see if you could find it. That's a Father Guido Sarducci bit. I love that bit. Oh, that reminds me. They're doing the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary show tonight. And they're bringing back everybody who was on Saturday Night Live, I'm sure. Not Father Guido Sarducci. Maybe he makes a quick appearance. I don't know. I think he's still around. Yeah. So if you want to tune in for that. Alex, my mom wants to see Conclave. I told her it might not be very good, but she's a fan of Ralph Fiennes. Such a shame. He's a good actor who takes on woke roles. Yeah, I'm not sure how woke it is, but that's what I heard. I just don't trust Hollywood anymore with any kind of thing that's even in a remotely historical. And it's kind of a historical movie in that it's supposed to be about the election of the Pope. But I wouldn't even trust it for the basic facts anymore of anything. I just don't trust them. Ardent, I may be slightly loopy from the sinus meds and alcohol mix. LOL, loved Father Guido Sarducci. Julianne Moore in great shock after Donald Trump bans her children's book, Freckle-Faced Strawberry, from schools. I can't help but wonder what was in this. How many trans girls were in this one, Julian? I can't help but wonder what is so controversial. I don't know. It's a 2007 children's book, Freckle-Faced Strawberries. Okay. So what is the book? Freckle-Faced Strawberry is a semi-autobiographical story about a 7-year-old girl who dislikes her freckles but eventually learns to live with them when she realizes that she is different, just like everybody else. Okay. Let's see. Well, I don't see any gay stuff in it, but seems fine, I guess. I don't know. Would they even mention it? But who knows? Who knows? JC, Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary show on a Sunday. Ardent, best thing I've seen Fiennes in was Strange Days 25 years ago. I liked him in Red Dragon. And I kind of wanted to go see The Return, because that was an Odysee thing, but I haven't seen it yet. I might catch it on streaming. Breaking Bad creator Vince Gilligan urges more good guys in stories now that bad guys have taken over the world. God help us, they've become aspirational. Well, I mean, look, Vince Gilligan is, to me, a guy you can just hand a project to, and it'll probably be pretty good. So if he wants to do good guys, bad guys, I don't care. I'd greenlight just about anything he would do. Alex, has Trump banned the book, or are the media just lying like usual? I don't know. She says they banned it, but who knows? Storebang, am I the only one who loved The English Patient? Maybe. No, I'm sure a lot of people love that movie. It was a pretty big movie at the time. Oh, here it is. Steve Martin's SNL 50 monologue. He's not a bad choice. Who the hell's standing next to him? John Mulaney? Why is John Mulaney standing on stage next to Steve Martin during the 50th anniversary of SNL? Come on. John Mulaney? John Mulaney. Did he walk onto the wrong stage by mistake? I don't know who John Mulaney's agent is, but please call me. I want that agent. Because John Mulaney did a sitcom. It was just about the worst thing I've ever seen. I still have PTSD from this sitcom. It was that bad. But somehow John Mulaney keeps getting work. I don't know how he does it. I think he must have the greatest agent in the world. Now, his stand-up's not horrific, but I never found it outstanding. He is funny in that Nick Kroll show. I miss Nick Kroll. I wish he would get another sketch show. But, man, it seems like everything else John Mulaney does, I'm like, why is he in this? He must have been on SNL, maybe as a writer. JEC, he has one funny bit about Delta Airlines, but they're pushing him way too hard. Ardent, looks like a crappy bring your kid to work pick. God. See, here it is. Captain America Brave New World flies to heroic 100 million over President's Day holiday weekend. So I guess they're counting Thursday, which is why they get to 100 million. But oh my God, Korean star of A Brand New Life and The Man from Nowhere dies at 24. How the hell did she die? No signs of foul play, and they are investigating the circumstances surrounding her death. Oh my God, at 24? That sounds terrible. Let's see, what else is going on? Oh, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy's Tracy Morgan impression and MAGA Tom Hanks steal the show on Black Jeopardy and SNL 50. Now that sounds funny. Finally, Eddie's doing comedy again. JEC, vaxxed? I bet she was, because I didn't... Was it South Korea that vaxxed everybody? Like you had to get a vax? Maybe. Ardent? Mysterious. God, I miss funny Eddie Murphy. He used to be so funny. He used to be so damn funny. God. I mean, I might have to see that clip. The White Lotus Season 3 character guide. I don't care about that. Kristen Wiig, more SNL. We're going to get a coverage of every damn sketch in this thing. Kristen Wiig revives Odysee at SNL 50 for Serenade with Will Ferrell, Kim Kardashian, and Scarlett Johansson. Is that someone doing Norm Macdonald's Burt Reynolds character? Looks like Will Ferrell doing Burt Reynolds. Okay, it was Fred Armisen as Lawrence Welk. Will Ferrell as singer and actor Robert Goulet. Oh, he's doing Robert Goulet. All right, that's okay. Ardent. Delirious is easily the top 10 comedy albums of all time. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. I'm just going to pass by this SNL stuff. Jesus, too much SNL. Sabrina Carpenter and Paul Simon on SNL. Okay. So they're doing a performance of Homeward Bound. I wonder how Simon's old partner Garfunkel feels about that. It's rough, man. It's rough being Garfunkel, I bet. The Chosen gets exclusive U.S. streaming run at Prime Video under new expansive deal with Amazon MGM Studios. That did really well. The Chosen, they were showing that at Fathom Events in theaters. And I bet it cost nothing to make. All right, check in Bounding in the Comics. Before Avengers Endgame, Captain America Brave New World star Anthony Mackie disagreed with the idea of replacing Chris Evans. I don't think we need a new Cap. I don't think Cap needs to be changed. Well, what are you going to do? He's an actor. He's not in control of this stuff. I mean, yes, he said yes to the deal, but that was then. I wouldn't bash him for that. So what? You're talking about, that was like 10 years ago, man. Over at the Hollywood Reporter, SNL. Chris Evans, Captain America wasn't expected to save us, so why is Anthony Mackie's? Oh, good question. And here they are touting the soaring box office of Captain America. I don't think it'll be too soaring next week, but we'll see. I think it's a strategy to pump up the box office for next week. Oh, I hear this movie's good. That's what the normies will say. Oh, yeah, I hear it's good too. Made a lot of money. Oh, yeah, it's a #1 movie. I used to do office work back in the 90s. And that's when I was really into movies. Like, I would go to see movies every week. I saw everything that came out. And I was getting variety. I knew it all. Way more than the normies. But I would have to talk to the normies about movies, and it made me want to jump out a window. And I would try to tell them, and they wouldn't listen. They wouldn't listen. Damn it. Most normal people don't follow this stuff, and they just get sucked right into whatever the hype is. Even today. Although now the internet is here, so they're ranking Ralph Bakshi movies, if you want to see that, here on Bleeding Fool. Comics publishers reject traditional American values at their own peril. I don't think that's necessarily true, but definitely DC Comics shouldn't be doing that. And definitely Superman shouldn't be doing that, and Captain America. Not much going on here. Here is a funny review of Captain America. Captain America, Brave New Boar, he called it. More SNL. More SNL. Everything's SNL. Oh, here we go. Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds make red carpet appearance at SNL 50 anniversary special amid Justin Baldoni dispute. There's your sketch. That sketch. Yeah, and those two wouldn't show up. Do a sketch about them. Yeah, you won't see them there. JC, Bakshi's best movie was Coonskin, LOL. I don't remember that one. I like Wizards, though. Is that his? With the Cheech Wizard? Amazon MGM Studios inks deal with Dallas Jenkins. 5 and 2 studios lands U.S. streaming rights to The Chosen. There it is. Dave Chappelle says SNL producers forbade him from talking about Gaza and trans people. Boo, SNL, boo. If anybody could do it, it'll be Dave. He'll actually make it funny. I know. You don't want to have too much comedy on the SNL 50th special. Yeah, you don't want... God forbid you do anything edgy, SNL. I mean, yeah, that really wasn't the show. Oh, wait. JC, yeah, he did Wizards. Cheech Wizard wasn't in it, but he was ripping off Cheech Wizard. Oh, okay. Oh, right. That was Bodie who created Cheech Wizard. I do love the ending of Wizards, though. Comes out of nowhere, kind of. Oh, great. All the trades are SNL. They're just all. Oh, here we go. Masters of the Universe. Johannes Hakur. John Anderson teases really fun script as filming begins. I don't know, man. I saw some stills from He-Man this week, and it's the old He-Man in our universe, and then the police arrest him, and I don't know, hilarity ensues, I guess. At least they might make it a comedy, but seems like they've gone down that road before. All right, moving on to cosmic book news. Oh God, this Minecraft movie. I can't wait for this to die. Is that coming out next week? When the hell is that coming out? Ugh. That just looks worse. Worse and worse with each frame of it, I see. I mean, I get it. It's a popular game, but that doesn't make it a good movie. JC, bet it's like the Barbie movie with He-Man. I guess. It could be kind of going down that path. But this Minecraft movie, it just looks stupid as F. I get it. A lot of people will just go see it because they play Minecraft. So many people play Minecraft. But my God, it just looks dumb. It just looks dumber than dumber every time I see it. Jack Black, I don't know what to make of him anymore. Is he just... I think a lot of people are just in it for the money. I mean, like... At what point do you say to yourself, I got $30 million. Like, don't you just say, I'm just going to retire? Like, why wouldn't you do that? Or just do your own thing. I guess they just love it. Shaq meets new Superman, David Cornsweet, and James Gunn NBA promo. Not sure why that's happening, but okay. Because Shaq was... What was his name? Steel? Let's see. New Fantastic Four IMAX teaser plays before Cap 4. Yeah, that's another dumpster fire waiting to happen, I think, but we'll see. Marvel's X-Men, Margaret Qualley rumored for Rogue. Well, she's pretty hot. That would be a hot Rogue. I think I could approve of that. But I have no illusions that the new X-Men are going to be good. Disney? Oh man, that's gonna... You think stuff's woke now? Wait till you see the X-Men. I bet that's going to be woke as F. Because you got to understand, Chris Claremont was the progressive of his day. It's just that he is amazingly a talented man. He's a great writer. I love Chris Claremont, but he's very progressive. And his ideas were progressive, but they're gonna push that like off a cliff, I think. But we'll see. Dave Bautista done with Drax? No S. Wants to play new Marvel or DC role. How's it feel to want, Dave? Here someone explains the leader, and who cares? Oh, Batman 2, the Batman 2 update. So it starts shooting at the end of the year, and he likes the script. So. Surprise, surprise. I'm psyched to see the new The Batman. I like the first one. Clayface, though, I don't know why they're making this, but I mean, I would like to see Clayface done in Batman. Haven't done it yet, but don't do it as a separate thing. Like the Penguin. I didn't really like the Penguin. Had some moments, but you know. Oh, here it is. Oh, let me see. Did they have a picture? I don't even think they had a picture in this article. Yeah, that's the new He-Man. Oh, yeah, they do. Let's see if it loads. No, it's on Instagram. Here we go. Yeah, so this is a still from the new He-Man. So there he is getting arrested. There's the sword. And she's holding the sword. I mean, he does look muscly, I guess. I don't know. Does this look like a... Are you psyched? Doesn't look like it's psyching me up for this thing. But whatever. Sean Levy developing Dungeons & Dragons live-action Netflix series, The Forgotten Realms. So, you know. JC totally looks like Barbie. Yeah, I guess. It looks less fun than Barbie, to me. JC, looks like he's Ken Nuff. Dungeons & Dragons Forgotten Realms. It's perfectly fine, but, there's not a lot of characters. I mean, there are a million characters in it, but, like, I can't think of a single distinctive enough character to draw out of it, but I'm sure you could find one. I don't know, man. Whenever they do a Dungeons and Dragons thing, to me it's always lame. Ardent. So they're finally going after Drids? Maybe. Zebek's Demise is here. Good evening. Good evening, Zebek. I don't know if they... And Netflix is doing it? I mean, it could go either way. On the one hand, they could race swap all the characters and nobody would notice, because none of these characters really, I mean, it doesn't matter. But Ardent, they'll try to rip off Lord of the Rings by doing the Icewind Dale crew. Maybe. Ardent at Zebek's Demise Hail. Alex just went on a side quest to find out about Freckle-Faced Strawberry. It was worth banning by the DoD schools just for being crap, but it seems to mess with children's identity, although not sex. Okay, so maybe that's why. Maybe it was like a backdoor into that, and they felt it was woke enough they could cut it off the list. Oh, although it may have been that I've heard rumors that there are publishers, and that's kind of all they do, are these woke books to get them into schools and libraries and stuff. And so maybe it was a sort of thing where they cut off the entire line of books. And the article is just focusing on her book because it's a celebrity and because they want to make Trump looks bad. So maybe it was a whole line of books that were super woke, and that was kind of the least woke one. And they're just, picking that. JC, no mercy for gingers. Gingers. Yeah, they don't have souls. I've heard. Rings of Power season 3 confirmed. I could have sworn I read a headline that this whole thing was canceled, and I was rejoicing, but apparently not. Apparently I was mistaken, or that was a fake headline. I saw it on X, so I probably should have vetted it. But yeah, they're doing a 3rd season of this. Can you imagine? Alex, don't tell Harry at Lotus Eaters that he's ginger. Ardent, hey! No, we're just goofing around, Ardent. Zebek's Demise. Poor Harry. No, he's good. We're just goofing around. We're having a good time. Yeah, this Rings of Power, man. I don't know how they keep doing it. Ardent, we have souls. We gain a freckle for every soul we claim for the Dark Lord. Ginger, hashtag ginger supremacy. Is that from South Park? There was a whole South Park story about that. Yeah, so I guess the only thing I can think of is Amazon makes too much money, and the corporate guys decided, no, we'll get a write-off and we'll get the ESG. But they spent so much money on the first season, allegedly. Maybe that's a lie. Maybe they didn't spend that kind of money. They're just saying they did. And again, maybe it's a some sort of money washing operation somehow. They're just trying to get their money back from the government. I can't blame them for that. JC, Harry is more blonde, fair haired. What else we got? Checking in. No, we looked at that. Oh, here we go. The wrap. Zebek's demise. Harry's a ginger pirate. Changed my mind. Ardent, I think the whole kick a ginger thing was started by South Park, but it's old school English bigotry, I believe. Let's see. Ryan Reynolds pokes fun at Blake Lively Justin Baldoni feed on SNL 50. What have you heard? That's kind of funny. See, that's edgy. Although it's probably not helping him in the lawsuit, because part of it is Baldoni is calling up the images of Nice Pool from the movie and saying that you defamed me by making fun of me in the movie. I don't think he has a case on that aspect of it, but in total, like all the Blake Lively, it's basically, I think his lawsuit is just to counteract Blake's, but we'll see what happens. So this is all about SNL. Jerry Seinfeld tells Instagrammer, I don't care about Palestine. Well, why should he? Really? He's an American comic. Ardent, Sabrina Carpenter looks like an actual attractive Lady Gaga. Yeah, she's pretty cute, I guess. She's all right. CNN's Caitlin Collins deletes X-Post with link to Luigi Mangioni's website, including fundraiser. Yeah, you think you should do that, Caitlin? Why is she at the BAFTAs? She's not a celebrity. I guess she thinks she is. Oh, it's Isabella Rossellini interviewing Mikey Madison. She was the chick in Anora, and let me tell you, she's naked in most of the movie. She looks great. Speaking of attractive, JC, I would have to know who you are to be defamed by a parody version of you. I guess, I don't know. I think it's just to make Blake look worse in the lawsuit, because she's accusing Baldoni of sexual impropriety somehow on the set, even though they're playing lovers in the movie, which I think is going to undermine her case, because she's just going to look like somebody who's dissatisfied with the way things shook out. And possibly, my theory is, she's trying to get the book rights away from Baldoni so she can make the movie instead. So she can make the sequel without him. But who knows? Ardent, why would an American Jew comic care about Palestine? Yeah, and look, he's not in the politics. He tries to stay out of politics for the most part. He has. Why would you ask him about that? Alex, yep, as an Englishman, I can confirm we are prejudiced against those knock-kneed Scotchies and their genetic detritus Irish cousins. Ardent, at Alex, LOL, don't forget the leek-eating sheep shaggers in Wales, or Wakes, or Wales. No, it was Wales. Alex, Lee and Herring had it right with their extra final scene sketch of Braveheart. Say England is better than Scotland. All right, what else we got? That Park Place. Captain America Brave New World earns lowest cinema score in MCU history, on par with Ang Lee's Hulk and Dark Phoenix in fan satisfaction. So that's no bueno for the movie. Michael Bay arrested for trespassing the Vatican. Was it real or just a stunt? Probably a little both. Ardent, LOL, I saw that. Oh, you saw the Michael Bay thing? Yeah, it looked to be kind of a setup, but kind of like he was in no danger, really. They arrested him and then took him out, and then that was it. Ardent, oof. Ang Lee's Hulk was bad, but not that bad. That was made. That was the one that was made around 2002, I think, right? With what's his face, Eric Bana, and it just sucked because they wouldn't let the Hulk fight the army because they were worried about the blowback because 9/11 had just happened. So they didn't want to have scenes with the Hulk smashing tanks or killing soldiers. So it was such a boring movie. So they had him fight giant CGI mutated Hulk dogs. Ardent, no, the Lee and Herring sketch. Oh. JC, remember the Hulk puddles? Ardent, 03. Oh, it was 03. Dreams, Realities, and Imagineers, an editorial by L.W. Ghost. And Back to the Future creator Bob Gale announces new video game installment. Ooh, that sounds like it could be fun. And that's one way to get Michael J. back in it. Poodles. Oh, they were. Oh, right. Yeah, the dogs, right? Were they poodles? Actual poodles? See if they have a still of this new Back to the Future game. Nah, just stills from the movie. But that could be fun. And they could get Michael J. to do some of his voice. Alex, not for showing on the stream, but so the audience knows what the Lee and Herring sketch is. So you can hit that link for the Lee and Herring sketch. Ardent, LOL, Nick Nolte playing Gary Busey. That would be fun. All right, what else we got? Over at Breitbart? Ardent at Alex Ogle. LOL, I was just looking it up, thanks. Fans cheer Trump at Daytona 500. Beast leads drivers around the track. AP refuses to use Gulf of America despite updating other geographical ethnic terms. No surprise there. Alex Ogle, I think Hollywood should just leave comics alone for a while and experiment with something else. Well, I think they're just going through this phase where they're trying to remove the wokeness, but at the same time trying to keep their ESG scores. And it's not going to work. So we have to wait like another 5 years before they finally decide, oh, right, we should just go back to making good movies. And then I think eventually they're going to swing so hard the other way that you won't be able to make a movie without American flags flying in the breeze in the background of every shot and saying America's cool. They'll just completely go hard right for a few years, thinking like, oh no, we got to do stuff for the Trump supporters. They run the country now. And then they'll just like go religious, and the movies will be stupid, but in a different way. And then a bunch of people will quit and sue the studios, and then it's somewhere in between we'll get some good stuff, hopefully. Ardent, I was talking about Nolte's character in Ang Lee's Hulk movie. Oh yeah, who was he in that? Was he Thunderbolt Ross, I think? JC, no, the villain in 2003 Hulk was Nick Nolte acting like Gary Busey. Oh. Alex Ogle, Sheryl Crow has TDS. She used to be so hot. Yeah, she has TDS pretty bad. She has EDS, really. So she sold her Tesla in protest and donated the money to NPR and videotaped herself while doing it. So you know she's sincere. Because only liberal white women videotape themselves and show the videotape around the world. That's how you know they're sincere in what they're doing. Because it has nothing to do with getting attention. Ardent, Nolte played Banner's dad. Oh, okay. It's been a long time since I saw that movie. Nolte was Bruce Banner's dad. Says JEC. Ardent, Sheryl Crow was hot? When? She was. Back in the day. Let me see if I can find a picture of her. Sheryl Crow, let's say 1998 or something. Let me try bikini. Might be a bikini shot of her somewhere. Oops. Ah, stupid mouse. Try 90s bikini. There we go. Ah, she's got a good bod. She's 50 in that picture. But back in the day, you can imagine. Back in the day, you could imagine. Let's see. This looks like an old picture. No, that's recent. Alex, Sheryl Crow supports government wasting taxpayer money. I get it. Zevix Demise, I never thought she was hot. Alex Ogle, she was smoking in All I Want to Do video. Yeah, I thought she looked good in that. JC, Lance Armstrong stole her best years from her. Couldn't even give her a baby with his one ball. Bit of a butterface. Alex Ogle, oh dear, the stream is breaking up. Oh, sorry about that. We were having problems early on. Let's see what else is on. Breitbart. Captain America movie review. Another Marvel dud. Disney's latest Star Wars streaming series sinks without a trace. This is Breitbart, so they're very, very much against the Hollywood, I think. Late Lincoln Park rocker's 22-year-old son comes out as transgender. Ooh. Well, at least he's an adult. SNL's first openly gay cast member blast show for white-collar homophobia. Yeah, good time to do it on their 50th anniversary. Ardent, Sheryl Crow Young gets some nice shots when she went from babyface to Hollywood's hollowed out in a hurry. Woman drops lawsuit accusing Diddy Jay-Z of rape. Wow. So now you only got 999 lawsuits to go, Diddy. He's got a lot of people coming out against him. I'm surprised anyone dropped it. But maybe it'll be a tidal wave of dropping lawsuits and he'll get out. I doubt it, though. Kid Rock's Kendrick Lamar Kaepernick Super Bowl claim sets off wild fan reaction. All right. Don't care. What did we think of the Super Bowl? I kind of enjoyed it simply because I was in a room full of Eagles fans and they were having a great time. It would have been uncomfortable if the Chiefs had won, I think. But I thought the Super Bowl halftime show was boring. I always think they're stupid, but that one was just boring to me. Ardent. Chester's kid? Chester was working on an interesting documentary related to the guy who was Diddy before Diddy was Epstein, who didn't kill himself, just so you know. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Diddy. He just sounds terrible. JC, Kendrick's halftime show was boring. Yeah, I thought it was just so dull. Like, I couldn't understand what he was saying. I don't know any of his songs, and they all sounded exactly the same. You might as well have had Taylor Swift there. At least you would have had girls screaming. Not that I wanted to see that. Taylor Swift I don't like either. I just say have a marching band and don't even show it. Or just show some of your stupid commercials you spent all week promoting. Who cares? It used to be all football stuff. I remember watching football like in the 70s and 80s, and it was nothing but football stuff. And to me, that was very boring because I was not a football guy. But I could understand that, okay, this is a football game. They're talking about football, and they'd interview his quarterback's mom and talk about where he went to school and talk about this star player, that star player, do little mini documentaries in between. It was all boring to me, but it seemed appropriate. Now it just seems like they do stuff in the middle of sports games. I go, what the hell is this? I don't want to see this. But it's like more annoying. I don't want to see the football, but it's more annoying that you put other stuff in that I don't want to see. Now I have two things I don't want to see. Just stick with one thing I don't want to see. I don't want to see football, and I'm fine with not seeing all of it. Ardent at JEC, watching him damage the Grand National paint pissed them off. JEC, watching Kendrick, I realized that rap isn't cool anymore. Yeah, and I'd never heard Kendrick Lamar, but I'd heard about him for years, and I thought, oh, maybe this guy will be cool. And then I watched him, and I was just like, this is Kendrick Lamar? This is the guy they keep talking about? It was so boring. And I couldn't understand the words, like, but in my defense, my last rap group that I really liked was Public Enemy, but those guys rock, so, although they are a little controversial. But yeah, I don't know why they even bother with the show. You know what I would like to see? Dogs doing little stunts on the field. That would be fun. JC, Kendrick is super overhyped. Yeah, he was super overhyped. Speaking of dogs, checking in on Joan there. She slept through the whole thing. Poor little guy. Poor little girl is tuckered out. Yeah, the entire Super Bowl was just so overhyped. And, like, really, the Eagles fans love the game because we absolutely destroyed the Chiefs. And I keep saying we, and I hate that. Eagles absolutely destroyed the Chiefs. But these guys, every football fan says that. Oh, we won. No, you didn't win. You're not on the team. The team won. A bunch of paid athletes from various parts of the country that your team could afford. Anyhow, it was kind of fun to watch the Eagles just steamroll the Chiefs. Only because I thought maybe Taylor Swift would cry. But, you know, beyond that, who the hell cares? The only other time I watched the game was when the Eagles beat Tom Brady, and I thought, oh, that'll be cool if they beat Tom Brady, because it was kind of a Cinderella turn. And Tom Brady had won so many times, I just kind of wanted to see Tom Brady lose and the Eagles win. So that was a good Super Bowl. Other than those, don't really care. More there for the food. Let's see. Speaking of food, I think I should wrap this up. I think we're out of lane. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, I can't believe I can't find any Sheryl Crow. Let me try Sheryl Crow Young bikini. No, these are still, well, this one might be her from back in the day. I mean, you can't argue she's got a good bod. You know? But this week I was doing Hollywoke Hot Take, and there was some bit TMZ had about red lingerie, and I decided to click through it, and I thought there'd be about a dozen images, and it turned out to be more like 60. And I was clicking and clicking and clicking, and eventually I was just like, I'm getting tired of this. I actually got tired of boobs there just for a second. Anyhow, I think it's time to wrap up and call it a show. So what did we learn today? Well, we learned Kendrick Lamar's boring. Captain America, probably also boring, from what I've heard. We've learned that, we've learned that Hollywood is losing to the Chinese with this Niza movie. $1 billion. Very scary. We learned SNL is having its 50th reunion, and people are probably going to talk about it all week long. And I just don't care. But the only person I want to see is Eddie. I want to see Eddie. Back in the old days, I would have said Steve Martin, but these days he kind of seems to be out of like comedy. He doesn't seem to have that edge he used to have. Eddie kind of does though, and I wouldn't mind seeing Rob Schneider, just because I see him in a different context now. Because now I kind of like him, but back in the day I never liked him. But he was talking about it on Twitter, so I might check him out. And what else? God, I wish Buck Henry was alive, because he definitely would have to be on. I would want to see Father Guido Sarducci, but I bet he's not in it. I bet a lot of the people, they only probably pick the big names to be on the show. But that's fair, I guess. I mean, the show's only 3 hours. Ardent, have a good week, all movie. Have a good week, all. Movie pitch: 8 hot chicks in bikinis. It's just 8 hot chicks in bikinis. Good night. I think we're on to something here. I think a new subgenre. How about hot chicks doing jumping jacks? That would be good. My chicks in bikinis movie has always been, well, they're not in bikinis. It's called Naked Kaboom, and it's just about a group of naked hot chicks with bazookas, and they run around blowing stuff up. So you get to see explosions and naked girls. So it is. I never got to do it in my in the webcomic Super Frat. I had planned to do it as the characters in the comic that was going to be their Kaboom, and we were going to actually do an issue of it, but we never got around to doing it. Zebek's Demise. I love that movie pitch. That's good. Ardent, LOL, needs a trampoline. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Bazookas and Bazongas. That could be the alternative name. But Naked Kaboom would be like the ultimate movie in like Idiocracy, right? Other than Ow My Balls, it would be Naked Kaboom. Alex Ogle at Ardent needs a shower scene. Oh yeah, there'd be a shower scene. Definitely. They get all sooty from firing the bazookas, and then have to get a shower. That would probably be in the second act. Yeah, lots of soap. Lots of soap. We also learned Sheryl Crow, pretty hot, but got some mixed reviews on her face. Much like Captain America, a lot of mixed reviews on the face. And what else is coming up for me? I'm doing Rose Hill Assisted Living on Wednesday at 2 p.m. before the snowstorm here. And then on Sunday, I'll be doing Nerd Fest. Next Sunday, I'll be doing Nerd Fest from 10 to 4. But don't worry, I will be here for the live stream. I should get home in plenty of time for that. And what else? That's about it. I'm trying to arrange some more. I arranged a few more events in May and April. I wrote them on my calendar and on my my book tour thing, which is right here. If you want to check that out. If you're in the New Jersey area, come see me. Zebek's Demise, hot tub scene. They have to relax after all that work. Yeah. Ardent, Sheryl Crow is in a bad place on the hot, crazy Matrix. Yeah. Oh, there was a study this week that liberal women are more miserable than their conservative counterparts. Shocker, I know. And it's true. It's true. Who the heck? I mean, I think it's like a spectrum. And I think the women who identify as liberal now are the craziest ones, because they're the ones who insist on being liberal despite the fact that it's no longer trendy to be liberal. Like, that's going away. And it's you could just see it evaporating. You could see it like just crumbling beneath them. So, I think a lot of people don't like to change. They don't want to change their deal. And so you've got women who have been liberal and doing all this liberal woke stuff on TikTok or whatever. They don't want to have to like turn around and say, "Oh, I don't believe any of that crap now." So they're just staying in until the bitter end, and but you know, a lot of women who weren't that committed to begin with are just like out, and they're just saying like, "Oh, I was never into it. I wasn't all that liberal." And some guys too, but you know, for women, I think it's more of an image thing, especially women who go online and post updates of themselves. You know, look at this outfit. But yeah, so I think I think the women who are left are crazier than most. They're further left than most. And as this trend continues, they're going to get crazier and crazier, but there'll be fewer and fewer of them. And I've already noticed, and I talked about this before, the sort of anti-woke YouTube area, whatever you want to call it, is getting bigger and bigger. And there's less and less meat on the bone for them. So they're digging and digging and digging for crazier and crazier liberals. And now a lot of people are just saying, "Oh, I don't do that anymore. I'm not a crazy liberal." So I'm waiting for the point at which there'll be just too many anti-woke guys doing stuff, and there just won't be enough. Because already, like, I think it was today, I noticed that everybody covered, oh, what story was it? They all covered the same story. I was watching Carl earlier. There's a girl in a bikini. She looks good. Let's see. Maybe it was under subscriptions. Oh, by the way, you got to see the G20 trailer. It's amazing. It's so bad. Ardent. Oh, if you're bored after this, check out my latest rant on Rumble. See Ardent. LOL. Watch the URL. Not show up. No, it showed up. You're already in for that. I figured that part out at least. I don't know. It was something that everybody. Oh, it was this. So a lot of the right wingers are covering the fact that, and I'm not blasting them for covering this. There's just not enough stuff to cover, right? In terms of, you know, liberals falling apart. It's kind of all the same stuff. But one of the things they covered this week, and everybody's covering it, is how so many people are now getting fired or expect to be fired in Washington, D.C. They're selling their houses. And thousands of houses are now up for sale in the Washington area. And the prices of the houses are going under because so many people, you know, the market is glutted with people who want to leave their homes. So people are slashing the prices to get rid of them. Ardent. Oh, it did. Also, there's a lot of lag. Oh, sorry. Ardent, that Black Pigeon Speaks piece is worth watching too. Oh, I'll have to check that out. So anyhow, I'm going to wrap it here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Give me a like if you can't look at all the friggin'... Yeah, I had a very poor stream health this time. Sorry about the stream buffering, everybody. Maybe we'll have a better signal next week and better weather. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.